Mr. Clean cleans up dirt, grime, and grease in just a minute. Mr. Clean will clean your whole house and everything that's in it. While listening to Cosmere Chronicles, the podcast we follow two first-time readers, Justin and Sheta, and who chronicle their journey through Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere series. On today's episode, we'll be chronicling Warbreaker Chapters 50 through 53. So now, let's throw it over to the host of Cosmere Chronicles. This is Joe. Thank you, Joe. Yep, everyone, welcome back once more to Cosmere Chronicles. My name is Joe, and today I be here with the good old Sheta and Justin.
Good morrow.
Yes, verily doth the raven.
Okay, did you really say good morrow?
Verily. I don't know.
Methinks you doth bitch too much.
All right.
Yes.
Yep.
The whole show we're gonna do this. Let's do it.
Yeah, I would not listen to that. We're not good at this.
Try to speak in our horrible Middle English.
Bad Renaissance fair speak.
That is beyond bad.
So let's get to our random questions today. So we'll start off again. We'll start with something positive.
Yay.
And going with continuing from last time. So let's go your top 3 favorite comic book artists.
Jesus.
Well, comic book. Okay, I will go with Dave Gibbons. Give me a second. Okay, I don't have 3. It's 3, right?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. You should tell us before so I don't have to think so hard.
Yeah, I meant to text you this one because I knew the question I was going to ask. I just forgot.
Okay, give me 1 sec because we're kind of I don't want to give out the wrong one.
Yeah, because these artists will be very offended if they hear you say the wrong person.
No, I don't want to misrepresent myself as a comic book fan.
So Justin, do you have 3 ready?
That's a big question. The ones off the top of my head, Frank Miller, huge fan of Jack Kirby. Jesus. And then for more modern artists, I'm quite a fan of Gary Frank, I think I would say. But I feel like I'm forgetting like 30 people who deserve that that third spot equally. But the first 2 are set in stone.
What about Joan and Vasquez?
Well, I love his art. It's one of my favorite art styles ever, but I kind of got to give credit to people who've drawn more comics across their career.
Yeah, like a. This is not mangaka, just comic books,
Nope,
right?
American comics.
American comics. All right.
Western comics, because...
Nope, only Americans.
No Canadians.
If you say a British person, you will be executed.
Yeah. Don't you give me none of your Brian Bolans.
Yeah, some of mine are probably British. I'm not sure. All right, we'll just go with Kevin O'Neill.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Jay Lee.
Yeah.
Charles Vess. But I don't really count him as a exclusive comic book artist.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna also pay George Jimenez or Jorge Jimenez for my modern pick.
All right, I guess for me, trying to think, what would I go with? Maybe John Romita Jr. I always like him.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever he's drawing something, it's always like, all right, cool. I like that. I'll also go with I guess he doesn't do too many full comics, but he did a couple. I'll go with Alex Ross.
Yeah, I'd count him.
Yeah.
Because he did Marvels, he did Kingdom Come. After that, it's mostly just covers, but...
You do those 2 and you can bow out. That's just fine.
Yeah. Because if anybody sees it, he's not really like he doesn't really like just draw comics. It's painting, it's art, and it's super realistic.
I believe he does some of the layouts for, I think it's Project Superpowers, but don't quote me on that. Or was it Justice that he painted? No, somebody else did the layouts and he painted. That was it, I believe.
Yeah, for
so
Justice.
Don't even listen to me. I'm not saying anything
He's
worth
a
hearing.
poser. Don't listen.
And
Alex Ross is a poser.
for a while, I don't know if he still does it, but I remember in the late 2010s, he was like a Marvel like variant cover artist. So
Yeah, last I
most
saw, he's still at Marvel.
yeah,
DC
like
ran him off with New 52.
yeah, like most of the Spider-Man comics, you'd have normal cover and then like variant cover with Alex Ross or.
Oh, he just did a Fantastic Four comic. That's what he did recently. Yeah,
And
he drew it.
And to also go with George Perez, I
Yeah.
always liked his art. He was great.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
for
like
an honorable mention, I will have to go with John Romita Sr.
Mm.
I've read a lot of Spider-Man and him taking over after Steve Ditko. Different art, but it was fantastic.
I'm going to do an honorable mention just to have a fourth one because I really was tied for third. I need to say Doug Mank. I'm a huge fan of him as well.
Yeah.
All right. And now let's swing over to the negative side.
Oh, God.
No.
I will say your overrated animated show.
Like cartoons?
Western animation, yes.
Jesus.
Man, you trying
You're
to
going to
get
get us
people to hate on
fucking
me?
killed,
Like,
Joe.
I know.
Oh,
I'm gonna
my
say
God.
Well, we only named like 4 of the most popular current anime last week.
People are even more attached to Western cartoons.
Yeah, especially if they grew up with it.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna come kill me.
Time to get killed, yeah.
Yep. All right. I have one after. You said 3 though. Again.
Just one. Overrated
Just
and
one?
underrated. We've only
just
done
one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank God.
But
That's what we've always done for the overrated and underrated ones.
I don't want to say mine.
You're gonna get killed.
I know.
Well, if you're afraid, I can go first.
It doesn't matter. I'm still gonna get killed.
And I guess mine, I think it is also a common criticism from other people, but I do feel it'll have to be Family Guy.
See, that's a safe bet to say.
That's a safe bet.
It is safe. But
It's
my
true,
God,
though. It is overrated.
Especially back like when it first came back after it was canceled, it was everywhere. Everyone loved it. And back then, you could not see anything negative about that show. And it's just like, I don't like this as much anymore. A number of years later, you still cannot. Nowadays, it's been a while since it came back. So now, saying something negative, it's more common. But back then, you could not say anything negative about that show back in like the 2007, 2008 time period.
All right, I'll say mine quick, and then I'll duck out. Steven's Universe.
Oh no, Sheta, you just killed us all.
I know.
Well, I've never watched it, so I can't judge.
I do agree. I haven't watched much, but I did not enjoy that show. I know its fans fucking love it though.
I know. And it's okay. You love it. It's just not my thing.
I actually thought of a better one. The one that I actually more truthfully believe than Family Guy.
Oh God, Joe.
One that may get Justin and Sheta to kill me. But we'll save that for after Justin's.
Okay.
Jesus. It's tough. It's another safe bet, but because everyone hates the show, but it is very. You know what? I'm actually going to give mine. It is modern Rick and Morty. I think that show was great when it first started, and I think that it is borderline unwatchable now. I don't know if people agree with me on that one or not, but especially when they,
hasn't there only been one season of it?
One season of Rick and Morty? It's not like season 7 or 8
of like the new one after.
I liked the first 3 seasons. And then I did not like season 4. I think I watched 5. I watched until Justin Roiland was kicked off. And then I refused to watch after that. But even those last couple seasons, it's not as smart or fun as it used to be.
I've only seen season 1.
Well, that's one of the best seasons. 1 and 2 are great.
All right.
Does that count if it's a show that went downhill, but you originally liked it?
Well, people still put it up as great, even doing those seasons you didn't like.
All right, well, there we go then. Then I'm all good.
All right. And then I guess the one I thought of that I think is even more overrated, and Justin Sheta will be pissed at me, SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh, no.
I've never gotten into that show. Watched it when I was
did not know this about you. I'm very shocked.
I'm heading over there.
What are you talking about?
Now.
Justin,
Justin, I've told you before.
I don't like SpongeBob SquarePants. And you're just like, all right.
Not liking it is different than saying it's overrated. That's crazy.
I think people act like, oh, yep, one of the greatest cartoons and all that. And I watch it, it's just like, nah, I'd rather
Did you
watch
start
it
from the
is,
beginning?
though.
Yeah,
What
from the
season?
beginning, he's saying the early stuff. Because, like, the later stuff, sure, but the early stuff is.
Even when it was
I'm
first
not going to
starting,
kill you for that, but I am shocked.
when it was first starting on Nickelodeon, I was like, all right, I'll watch it. And I'm watching, it's just like, I'll have it on, but I was not connected to it at all.
Joe, you were never a child, were you? You just plopped out like a
No,
80-year-old man.
no, because I was watching Nickelodeon all the time. I watched, Rugrats, Angry Angry Beavers, All Real Monsters, Doug, Rocko's Modern Life, Ren Snippy. Loved all those. SpongeBob comes out. Could you just play one of those other cartoons instead? Oh, don't worry. I already know the one I'll say once we get to overrated animated movie.
Oh, God.
All right, but so that's everything we have for that. So let's move back over to Nulthus and get into Warbreaker, and we will start off by having Justin recap last week's episode.
Oh, God. Yeah,
You need help?
probably.
Could start you off.
Give me a hint.
They use breath for powers.
That's the entire book.
Yeah, I'm giving you a hint of what book we're doing.
Yeah, Avena was trained a bit, I believe. She had trouble, but she's getting the hang of it pretty quickly. Siri and Susabran came up with a plan to reach out to Lightsong to hopefully expose what the priesthood is doing to everybody. Lightsong, I think he changed the commands last time, but I think he got them the time before. I'm not entirely sure.
You're
But I
right.
believe that's what he did last. And
Vasher and Vivenna did something else.
Vivenna saw Vasher shirtless, right?
Yeah.
And I think
right.
that covered up everything.
And he's hairy.
No, there's a much more important part of that chapter than him being shirtless.
Well, that's
I
what I
don't
remember.
know. I don't see it.
Vasher and Vivenna saved a small girl.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Oh, no. Now people know my priorities.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the priest's daughter who'd been kidnapped. Yeah, they broke in, freed her. He did some weird shit with her, and then they gave her back without the memories of whatever horrible stuff happened. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think that's
equal importance.
Seeing him shirtless. Oh,
and
God.
she didn't look away.
The Acolyte tried to base its whole marketing campaign on a scene like that. I've seen it pushed way further, or way more important than I'm describing this book.
Yeah, I think everyone has seen false advertising for movies and shows.
It wasn't false. The guy was shirtless for a long time.
All right. So looking at this week. So this week we read through chapters 50 through 53. So as usual, I'll ask you to, I feel like these chapters might have been a little bit eventful. So what'd you guys think of these chapters?
I hate them. Everything's terrible.
Yeah.
This book is so funny because we spend like 80% of it with nothing really happening, and then everything just gets horrible all of a sudden.
And then suddenly I get slapped in the face.
Yeah.
That's how it feels like.
Like, oh, you thought you were reading a friendly book? Dipshit.
Wake up.
Brandon
very
Sanderson's
sudden.
a sadistic bastard, apparently.
I think so too.
He's
They
like, oh, you know
roll
what'd
me
be
the sense-
funny?
Yeah.
If I made him feel safe and then shot him in the face.
Yeah.
Did you say you thought you were reading a happy book? Did you forget all the chapters of Vivenna on the streets?
They were happy. She got off the streets. She never turned to prostitution. Things could
Kind
be
of
worse.
fun. Like
She got to LARP as a poor person for a bit.
right, like Aladdin.
Mm-hmm.
Aladdin was not LARPing. He was poor. He was
Yeah, but
LARPing as a prince.
No, Vivenna's Jasmine who got to hang out with Aladdin and see how it was.
Yeah, see? Every
Run from the
girl's dream.
guards, steal some apples. Yeah. It's basically
And
what
she
did.
found her Aladdin in Vasher. We're all good.
Oh, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
So does
This is
that
my
make
second-
Nightblood Apu?
Yes.
I think it's Abu.
Abu.
Yeah. I realized that right after I said it's like, no, it's not a Simpsons character.
Yeah, I just saw Apu standing next to her.
Crossover. Oh my god. No.
And I feel like some of your theories that you guys had got derailed this week as well.
What? What theories?
I don't know, Justin, who did you think was behind everything with the priest and running
Actually,
it all?
turns out I was partially right. So there you go. My theories were at least a third confirmed.
Partially right, but for very different reasons of why
Yes,
they were
yes,
doing it.
technicalities.
All right. Well, let's get into the breakdowns of the chapters then. So starting off with chapter 50. And we're with Blushweaver and Lightsong, and they're walking into the arena for the Assembly of the Gods. Blushweaver's talking about how now each of them control 20,000 of the lifeless troops. And Lightsong, he's thinking about how this government is run by immortals who only live about a decade or two and never see the outside world. Blushweaver mentions that they should share their lifeless commands phrases with each other, so that way, if something happens to one of them, they'll still be able to take control of all the lifeless. And as they're walking, Blushweaver notices how so few of the people are paying attention to her. Lightsong brings up that, she's at her best when people ignore her. And he even tries to get people to ignore her and pay attention to him, because then that will make her act in her usual charming self when she's throwing little tantrums and being overly seductive. And Blushweaver says that Lightsong will destroy his image by being too wonderful. And he says that, his image is just getting tiresome. He says that he has been known to be the laziest of the gods, but others are naturally more useless than him, but they pretend not to be aware of it. He says that joke was just to distract from the one that is being played on all of them by giving him so much influence over the kingdom. Only a group of idiots would give him control of the armies.
I don't disagree.
Blushweaver says that they trust him, but he says that they are just too lazy and want to make others make the difficult decisions. The gods spend their time in idleness and pleasure and are expected to know what is best for the kingdom. They want to be involved, but nobody actually wants to be responsible. Blushweaver says that Lightsong is wonderful, and she figures he is not going to give her his lifeless commands. And he's like, yeah, I'm not. She says that she brought him into this. He always says that he is useless, but he is still one of the few that goes through all the arts, listens to every poem and song, and listens deeply to all of his petitioners. Lightsong says that there's nothing in him to respect, but Blushweaver argues against this. He goes out and he laughs and makes fun of other gods, and this inadvertently places him above them. In a city of frivolity, he's the only one with a measure of wisdom, and that is why he holds the armies. She says that she knew he might resist her, but she thought she could still influence him. He tells her that she can influence him, and it is because of her doing that he is involved. And she tells him that she can't decide which feeling for him is stronger, her love or her frustration. And Lightsong says that he'll take both and kisses her hand, and then the two of them they separate and go into their own pavilions.
I should have known things are going to go bad right here. Everything's going too swell for him. Like, he's about to get his girlfriend. Everything's great. Everyone's happy. Got the powers. He's realizing all these things.
Yep, and I said before, like, the first time I read this book, going through it, the one thing I kept going back and forth on Blushweaver the entire time. Like, was she bad? Was she good? Was she trying to just manipulate Lightsong and not care about him the entire time? Or was she working with him because she actually did deeply care about him and wanted to legitimately work with him? I was always going back and forth on this, and like this chapter, when she was telling him, like, she doesn't know which is stronger, her love or her frustration. I do believe that she was being truthful, and yeah, that she does love him.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You can love somebody and be heartlessly manipulating them at the same time.
Sounds like you know that from experience.
Yeah, that's what I do to people.
Well, I also don't think that she was heartlessly manipulating him.
No, I don't think so either.
And, like, knowing what happens later, that makes this whole conversation with them here just a whole lot sadder and harder to read.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, going through this whole book, this second time, like, just knowing the story, it's like seeing their interactions the entire time just gives it a whole different feel.
So the whole time when we're like, we don't trust this bitch, you're like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Well, no. I'm not gonna... No,
Just in your
because
head.
that's how it was supposed to be written. And then we jump over to Siri, and she's walking through the halls, making her way to the assembly. Her plan is to go meet with Lightsong and pull him aside and tell him the truth about the God King. And Lightsong will spread this to the other gods and have all their priests bring a discussion in the arena, talking about how the God King never speaks, and force him to speak. And then Susabran at that point will reveal the truth. And they know then if the priests won't do this and help out, then that means that those priests are in on it too. But Siri does have a little bit of fear inside that possibly Lightsong is already in on it and knows the truth. But that's a risk that she has to take.
I love when characters don't trust characters I know are trustworthy.
Yeah.
And then at an end of a hallway, there's a collection of priests and lifeless waiting for her. And Siri knows that she doesn't really have a chance to run, so she just walks up to them, acting like she's still in command. And they tell her that, she can't exert herself in her condition because it would not be good for the baby. And Siri is not pregnant. And now she realizes that she never had to become pregnant.
Surprised that never crossed their mind. I always wondered about that. Like, what benefit is there to being pregnant for real? Why couldn't they just fake the whole thing?
Yep, and the priests just didn't make the people believe that she became pregnant. And then the priests have the lifeless take her away, and they tell her, don't worry, this is for the best. And then we cut to Vasher and Vivenna, who they're in the arena with the normal people listening to the proceedings. And Vasher, he had used his cloak and stuff to move up above the crowd and look around, but he did not see Denth when he was searching. And Vivenna had convinced Vasher to leave Nightblood back at his place. And in the arena, Nanrova is currently arguing against the war, but nobody's really listening to him. He had lost his credibility by going back and forth on the issue of war. And Vivenna notices that they had started the proceedings without the God King this time, and that Siri also was not in her seat. Vasher says that he does not like leaving Nightblood alone for too long, and Vivenna tells him that carrying that sword around just be too conspicuous. Vasher mentions that he's never been good at being unobtrusive, and that Denth used to make fun of him for that, which surprises Vivenna that Denth and Vasher used to be friends. Vasher leaves to go try to figure out why the God King isn't here. While he's gone, Vivenna just feels the life all around her using her breaths, and she enjoys it. And she can feel Vasher when he's coming back, and then he congratulates her because she is now going to be an aunt. Vivenna is shocked to learn that Siri is pregnant, and now her plans all feel useless. What will Hallandren do once they have their heir with royal blood? And she tells Vasher that they have to get Siri out. Vasher says that he will see what he can do. And he points out that the priests are pulling out, because it is time for the vote on whether the country will go to war. And then we cut back to Lightsong, and he's watching as the gods vote for war in a way where the gods tell their priest, yep, green or red for war or not, and the priest comes out raising the flag. And he thinks that Blushweaver brought him into this because she was worried that Hallandren would be taken by surprise. And Lightsong was also upset the God King wasn't here for this important vote, and he's missing it just so that he could celebrate spawning a child. Larmar asks Lightsong how he wants to vote, and Lightsong's looking at the voting and sees that most of the votes are being revealed in favor of the war. And then Lightsong just gets up and walks around over to Blushweaver's pavilion. He thinks that all the other gods voting, their votes are just meaningless. Only 2 of their votes really matters.
He's right. I like him pointing that out. It's so funny. Like he said, everyone abdicating responsibility to others, but still pretending they have it is really funny to me.
All right, and he tells Blushweaver that if he resists, then this entire declaration will be for naught. If he doesn't allow his lifeless to attack, then Hallandren will not win any war. Blushweaver's just like, you can't really go against the vote. No, I think I can do it if I want. And then Blushweaver tells her priest to vote for war. And Lightsong thinks that Blushweaver could emerge from this as one of the most powerful returned in history, and so could he. And he cannot decide how to vote, and he tells Blushweaver that he's going to need more time. And as he leaves, Blushweaver shouts that he can't just leave them all hanging, but he responds that he can, and he is frustrating like that. And that's the end of that chapter.
Just trying to get into Lightsong's head here. Like, I don't know what I'd do here either. I would feel like him. I just want to step away from it and think about it more and not commit, But everyone is ready to go. They want their decision now, you know?
I think he's realizing how much power is in his hands and is like, you know what? No. Like, I'm just gonna, if anything, just stall because this is all. I'm not gonna push that button yet, you know?
Yeah, but you can't do that forever. Might as well have made up a choice by now, you know, about what you're going to do at least, so people know your intentions, you know?
Yeah. I feel like this is so Lightsong to do.
Like, it's not like he
Like,
comes in and speaks about this, you know?
everyone just kind of, yeah, knows, but yeah, he's not. Mhm. I wonder what the mother is thinking.
Oh, who gave him the stuff?
Yeah. If she's in the crowd being like, all right, here's your chance, and she just sees him get up and walk away.
I mean, he's right. They're all created to be vapid and, like, just leisurely people. Asking them to do this war thing in the first place and make these decisions is kind of crazy. So I wonder.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like, obviously, they're just meant to be there to, like, do whatever the priesthood wants, like, be manipulated, right? Like, they have they're not politicians, you know? They're not leaders. So I don't know. This whole system just seems so stupid to me. But on the other hand, we didn't really get to ever hear, like, they've been debating about this for weeks. We didn't really get to hear any of it because none of our characters care about it, you know? So I wonder if that's a theme there because Lightsong doesn't really pay attention. Siri doesn't really pay attention,
That's
you know?
true.
So what if they've been, like, when, in the next chapter, when Lalamar says a little bit about why to and not to go to war, I'm like, this is the first time hearing about a lot of it in this way, you know?
That's
but, like,
funny.
he's been listening to them talk for months at this point, I'm sure, you know?
Why does this feel like a D&D campaign when none of the party is paying attention to the...
Yeah, none of the party's doing the plot, and then the DM just pulls the trigger on it anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
They've just been dicking around, fighting random things,
No
going to
one's
random
taking
towns.
notes.
And you're like,
Yeah.
you know what? Now the dragon attacks. The one you were supposed to find out, like, sessions ago.
Yeah, and you had to do these things to try to stop him, but you
Yeah, it
didn't.
attacks the
So
city and just starts killing everybody. What do you do now?
yeah,
That's like our D&D campaigns. We have like, all right, one person there is the person that keeps the notes.
Yeah.
It's like, what do we do next? Nick, what was written down?
Yeah.
like I was gone this day. I was like, oh, dang it.
Yeah, because I'm not a person that, like, I've tried taking notes in a D&D camp. I just can't. I just try to remember the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we have like 2 or 3 people that keep the notes.
I do it by just drawing pictures. Not very useful.
Well, the worst is when you get something that came up, like, all right, this thing came up, but that was a year and a half ago in this campaign. So you're having to look through these notes, scrolling back. It's like, there it is, found it. Because we did have some campaigns that did take years to go through. So people were having to go back through notes that were pretty old.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else from this chapter you 2 want to go over?
Mm-mm.
No, I got it.
All right. So now we'll go over to chapter 51. We're with Vasher, and he's on the wall of the Court of Gods. And Nightblood is glad that Vasher took him out of the closet because it was dark. Vasher tells it that, Nightblood can't see, but Nightblood says that a person knows when they are in darkness. Vasher is looking at Lightsong's palace, and Nightblood says they should kill him because he is evil. And Vasher tells Nightblood that it doesn't even know what evil is. And Vasher thinks about Nightblood's creation. It took someone who was at the 9th heightening, and it used 1,000 breaths to awaken stone or steel. Shishara had been the most talented of them, and was far more capable than Vasher, who usually used tricks like encasing bones in steel or stone. Shishara had been spurred on by the fact that she was shown up by Yestiel and the development of Ichor alcohol. She practiced and learned how to awaken sentience, and the two of them spent much time to figure out what can to give it. So then they finally chose Destroy Evil as the command. The problem was that a sword does not understand what evil is.
That was a lot of stuff dropped there in a very quick amount of time.
Yeah.
Nightblood says that Lightsong has the armies, and Vasher doesn't want a war. So that means that Lightsong is evil and they should kill him. And Vasher could feel Nightblood getting excited and pulling Vasher towards killing Lightsong, but Vasher resists. And Nightblood suggests maybe just tossing him into Lightsong's room, because if Lightsong is evil, then he will just kill himself. Vasher thinks that is kind of a good idea, but maybe later. Vasher heads to the God King's palace and thinks about how it is far older than the palaces surrounding it, and that it used to be a seaside outpost, and it amused him that it is now home of the God King. Vasher sneaks inside the palace, and Nightblood asks if Venna is here. But Nightblood says that she doesn't like him, but he likes her, which surprises Vasher. Nightblood says that she is nice and pretty. Vasher thinks that Nightblood rarely lies, so that means that it must actually like Vivenna, even if it could not actually explain why. Nightblood says that she reminds him of a returned, and Vasher says that that's because she's descended from one. You can tell that she has a little bit of returned in her because of her hair.
Also quite a thing to drop in. It's
Yeah,
really
just
interesting.
casually.
Yeah, to finally get like a POV from him and just he knows all this shit that would blow everyone's minds.
Nightblood figures that Vasher is here to rescue Vivenna's sister, and says that, Vasher must like Vivenna too. Vasher says that he figured out today that Siri was the key to all of it. As soon as she arrived in the kingdom, the real move to start the war surged. Vasher sees a maid in the hallways of the God King's palace and captures her with an awakened rope, and he demands to know where Siri is. He pulls out Nightblood slightly, and it makes the maid sick, even like pushing the sword to her skin, and she vomits. The maid tells him where Siri is, so he gags the maid and leaves her tied up. Vasher finds the room, and there are large soldiers guarding outside, which Vasher finds strange. And now he figures that she has already been captured. She might not be pregnant, and that the priests are making their move. There are too many guards for Vasher to take out, so he just tosses Nightblood at them. And then he gets attacked from behind by a person with an awakened rope. And he gets into a fight, fights off men, but more and more keep coming. And he's using his awakening and stuff, but eventually he's taken down and tied up. And at that point, Denth walks out and tells Vasher that he is predictable. Denth and his men have been waiting inside the palace for 2 weeks because he knew that Vasher would come and try to save the princess's sister. Denth tells Vasher that he was always going to be Denth's payment, and that Denth owes him for Shishara. Tongfa brings Nightblood to Denth wrapped up in a blanket, and Denth tells him to throw it somewhere far away. But Tongfa says that, this could be useful, and he's looking at it in lust.
Oh, that's the team up I wanted to see the most.
Oh my gosh. Punkfa kills like everyone in the city.
I don't think he'd last very long from what we've seen of this thing.
Oh right, no, it would just kill him. Yeah,
I think it would just
I see.
it would
Yeah.
not work well.
Do it.
If anyone is evil. What's that?
Well, he'd probably kill everybody in the vicinity and then himself last, because I think that's usually what happens.
Yeah.
For the most blood possible.
It wouldn't go well.
And then Denth takes the sword from Tongfa and smacks him in the back of the head. He tells
Three
Tongfa
Stooges again.
Hmm?
Like
Oh.
Three Stooges.
Yeah, you numbskull, put that sword down.
Yeah.
But boss, I want to use it. Yeah.
He tells Tongfa that he just saved his life, and he will take the sword himself. Vasher knows that Denth is too strong-willed to be taken by the sword, and that Denth has as much history with it as Vasher does. Denth tells his men to strip Vasher down and tie him up, and then he will have a long talk with Vasher about what he did to his sister. And that's the end of the chapter.
Things going great.
Not the fight I was hoping for. I mean, the reunion. I was hoping that Vasher would get the up on Denth.
Right away? Just walk in and shoot him and then it's over?
Well, no, he'd be like, yes, I've got the high ground. And, Denth would be like, damn you, Vasher. Like a classic. Not like this. This is sad.
So, anything from this chapter, like with any of those reveals you were talking about that you wanted to go over?
No, I don't think anything was revealed. Nothing really happened here. Kind of a filler chapter, honestly. Sheta, I'm surprised you're not exploding with thoughts and theories and ideas.
I don't know. I'm just exhausted. Yeah,
I thought for sure you were going to come in and say, see, Vasher and Denth, they're both part of the ancient people from the ships with the ancient ways and, all this stuff. They've got yada, 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 like just pouring into a whole stream of stuff that tied into everything you've been saying.
Yeah, no. I guess I just always already knew this, so
Already
Not
knew
news
what? This is what I'm saying. I'm curious. Have you heard the same info I have? Or did you make up a totally separate thing I don't know about and you're just taking it as fact?
In here, I guess it's always weird to have like in my head kind of these ideas, pieces of all these ideas, and then to have it answered kind of similarly.
Was it?
Well, just that
I feel like
Vivenna,
it's still pretty vague.
well, just one, like Vivenna and her sister, they are descended from Returned, which is not quite my theory, but it was kind of like that.
What
So
was your theory? I don't remember you saying anything like that.
that they are like reincarnations of Returned.
That's not even remotely similar.
That they're related somehow to like people Vasher and them knew and stuff like that. Not Vasher, Lightsong. Yeah. See, it's all confusing in my head now.
What? You're screwing me up. I don't know what you're saying.
I know. That's how I feel. I'm screwed up in the head from any new information. I had to rewrite my memories.
Okay, what did we actually learn? That's the question.
We learned that the royal locks are there because they are descendants of Returned.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the one that I remembered.
So Returned can bear children?
I guess, yeah.
Or maybe make them in some way?
Yeah.
I think some of the other stuff that I think might have been big was you learned how they created Nightblood and what his command was.
Yes, that's true. 100.
Yeah, but that wasn't. That's true. But I'm specifically about things that we were talking about. Yeah.
You're theorizing.
Mm-hmm.
Or
because I mean, I already figured he had an origin, so that's not actually that shocking to me. I figured it was some kind of, reason. Usually is.
Or that Shishara is Denth's sister.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it's this chapter or later, but when Vasher's like, I had no choice, but how do I tell him that? I thought that was really weird. Makes me really curious to see.
Did we learn in here as well that she's not only Den's sister, but loved Vasher? Or did I make that up?
I don't remember that.
No,
did they say that?
That comes up in a later chapter. I just can't remember if it was said before that chapter or not. It might have even been said earlier in the story, but I know for a fact it comes up in the later chapter today.
Yeah, if it was, no, because I would have made a note of that. Yeah. So it was in these chapters.
Or I think the other big thing I feel like was that she was spurred on to make Nightblood after being shown up by Yestiel and his development of Iker alcohol.
Mm-hmm. That was interesting. So isn't the Iker alcohol like a pretty old thing, or do we not know?
Yeah, because that was before the Many War, so it's very old, I think.
I don't have a good sense of the timeline. I don't remember what we've been told.
300 years?
Was it?
The Many War was 300 years ago.
Okay, so yeah, that's interesting.
And then we know that it was kind of because the Lifeless army was able to be made.
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons. Okay. Man, is this whole thing like a freaking family dispute or something?
Right.
Like,
yeah, so here we go. So I looked up my notes. So chapter 33. All right. Vivenna asked what they put inside Claude, and Denth says it is Iker alcohol, which was discovered by one of the 5 scholars. He says that helped begin the Many War.
Okay. I see.
All right.
So we got some messed up stuff happening here. Well, shit, I guess you were right all along.
Yeah. What did you expect, Justin? I don't think Denth is one of the scholars. He seems kind of stupid.
Well, Denth does not seem stupid. Where's that even coming from? He's not stupid at all.
Sorry, not stupid, but not a scientist.
Where did you get that from? That you need to be a scientist?
Because it's 5 scholars.
What if he's an expert at
being
anthropology?
That's.
Or he got an art degree.
Well, the 5 scholars made stuff though, like they invented stuff with the powers, So
Yeah, this kind of stuff, when they start leaking this stuff out, I don't get as many theories because I'm like, well, just wait a couple chapters. I'm sure I'll get all the rest of the details, It's more like when they're trickling it out at the beginning that I start theorizing stuff.
I know. I hate when I start and then they just like either say it's wrong or say what was already implied, So that's true. Well, yeah. I just now wonder who the other 3 scholars are. Is Denth one? Is Vasher one? I don't know. I mean, I did call him Professor Vasher.
Oh my god.
All right, well, I think with that, let's move on to chapter 52. All right, so chapter 52, we're back with Lightsong. Lightsong, he's sitting and he's having all of his servants pile up his belongings just in one room, just bring them in and just toss them in a pile. And he asks Larmar if he ever feels like something far greater than him is going on. Larmar says yes, and that he deals with it because he has faith that someone understands. Part of that someone is Lightsong, but, part of it's also something much greater than him. Lightsong says that when it's piled up like this, now it's just junk instead of something great. Larmar says that the value in something is in how it's treated, not how much someone will pay for it. Lightsong excuses his servants and tells Larmar that this pile is what he means to the people. They give up their riches for him, and right now he's expected to choose their fates for them with the war. He asks Larmar what he thinks on the war, and Larmar gives reasons both for and against the war, like saying that, they are a rebel faction and they control the passes and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that they've never given up claim to the throne is a pretty big one. I never thought of it that way, but yeah, that could be problematic in the future.
Yeah, but also at the same time, they've never really attacked or done anything aggressive besides the stuff that Denth has been doing recently. Then Larmar takes off his ceremonial headdress and says that he will give Lightsong an answer as a friend, not as a priest. He doesn't think that they can ignore Idris any longer, but he cannot justify the slaughter of the people. What he would do is he'd declare war and make a show of force, and then hold peace talks. And then they can get some favorable treaties for the use of the passes, have the royal family formally renounce the claim to the throne, and also recognize Idris's independent sovereignty. Lightsong says that this is reasonable, and wonders why are tensions so high right now after the wedding, when that should have unified the country. He feels like they are missing something, and decides to go and find out. And then we cut back over to Siri, and she's being held prisoner in the room that she has shared with Susabran. But he has not been brought to her this night. She figures that she is still safe because the priest will keep her alive. That way they can show her off just in case something happens. And a guard comes, checks on her, and she wonders why the lifeless and the priest have been replaced by just some crass soldiers. But she decides to hope in Susebron. She had taught him how to read and gave him determination to break free from his priests. That will have to be enough.
What do you think, Sheta? You weren't trusting Susabron last time.
Oh yeah, he's suspiciously absent from all this while she's trapped. I think the likelihood of him just also being trapped is quite low. I think if he wanted to get to her, he would have. So either he's dead, he's innocent and he's dead, or like,
jeez,
knocked out or something like that. Or he's in his control room, just like doing all this stuff behind the scenes.
He has a control room now.
Yep.
Wow, you have totally changed allegiances.
He's in like a Darth Vader type nest where he absorbs people's breaths and like at the top of his black castle.
Man, he doesn't appear he doesn't show up in 4 chapters and suddenly he becomes Darth Vader level of evil.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, you're describing more than Darth Vader, you're describing Palpatine.
Yeah. If Darth Vader would to have killed Palpatine and taken over,
Oh God, what the hell story are you writing?
This might be the greatest turn that somebody has made after literally nothing in the story happening, like them not turning evil. He hasn't said anything bad. He hasn't tried to hurt or anything. He's gone for a couple times, and all of a sudden Sheta goes from "he's my husbando" to "he must die." He is the most evil character in the book.
I hope I'm wrong, but I just had a feeling suddenly.
He's
And
been
now-
eating children. Right, Sheta?
No, that didn't even bother me. It was his one comment about. Yeah, it was his comment about maybe he should try to take over and that Siri should help him. It was just so weird to me. I don't know. I'm hopefully wrong.
I just find the whole 180 on it just so because it's such an extreme.
He's been gone for
change.
one section of chapters. He's behind it all. He's evil. That's what it
Where
is.
is he? You know.
He's the villain all along. Oh my god, I should have seen it coming. It's so obvious now.
Just shows you fool me once. You give me one little thing to suspect you. That's it. And just something I made up too. Like he didn't do anything really. He just
There's
said
no evidence of it. Oh, sorry.
Well, her theory last week was that he secretly can read the entire time.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I forgot.
Mm-hmm. He was pretending.
It's all there. The subtext is all there.
I just mean Siri's a naive young girl who has little experience, talking to guys or even being outside of her house.
And he pulls the old I can't read, I don't know anything, I don't have a tongue move that so many scumbag guys pull, huh? To manipulate girls. I bet he's just been tucking his tongue back this whole time. He has one. He just doesn't want to provide his husband. Okay, I'll stop there.
Okay, when you put it that way, it's a little.
Well, Justin, he's like Jebediah Springfield. He's supposed to have like a silver tongue, but he removed it.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Or I don't remember what Jebediah Springfield's real name was.
Oh, yeah, I can't remember.
Well, now I need to find out.
I love how his last name is Springfield. That's pretty funny.
What?
Nothing. Go on.
All right. All right. There you go. Hans Sprungfeld. That's what it was.
Okay.
That was his pirate name. All right. Well, let's get back to Brandon Sanderson, and we're going back to Lightsong, and he sneaks back into Percy Star's palace via an open window, and he's being followed behind by Larmar, who is just completely against this idea. And also Larmar is lagging behind because he's also not in the best of shape. As they're walking inside the palace, they run into some guards inside. And one of the guards runs off to go warn like Mercy Star or something. But then Lightsong runs away and he gets chased by those guards and Larmar. And then he reaches to the spot where the trapdoor was before. And he's able to pop it open and climb down while the other guards that have shown up, they just have to watch him since he is a god and they cannot touch him or hurt him or anything like that. Not unless, I think Mercy Star had to do something. So Lightsong and Larmar climb down and then they wind up just in a storage room. But Lightsong can sense people down here with his life sense. Then he finds a hidden little hole in the wall and he crawls through it into a tunnel. And then behind him, he's able to close a gate on the hole so that way they cannot be followed. Lightsong starts walking down a tunnel, and he realizes that this tunnel leads to the Lifeless Barracks. And the tunnels that are leading to the Lifeless Barracks are much newer than the other tunnels down here. And then Lightsong starts heading down some other tunnels, following the life that he's able to sense. And he comes to a spot where he's able to hear two men talking to each other. One of the two men is Denth, and the other one is a person that we don't know their name. And the other man says that Denth pays too much attention to Vasher. Denth tells him not to underestimate him, and that Vasher has done more in his life than 100 men have done, and he has also done more good for the people than they will ever appreciate. The man asks Denth if he is going to kill Vasher, and Denth says yes. And the man's then saying, yeah, our goal's accomplished, but Denth tells him that no, it's not. They don't have their war yet. And then the man says that he has someone to interrogate, but Denth says, no, I have an old friend to torture instead. And I also had to stop and pause to dispose of the sword before that. The man gets upset with him, but Denth says that you did not hire me. So if you need me to do something, then you should get your boss.
And who's the boss, Sheta?
Susebron.
Susebron? That would be
Susebron.
something.
Yep. Or, yeah, when he's evil, he's called Susebron.
Well, the boss is Tony Danza, when you have to ask who's the boss.
Joe, why'd you spoil it?
Oh,
I knew
your-
that. I didn't want Sheta to find out.
I forget the actress's name of that show, because technically he works for her.
All I know is that Tony Danza cuts in line.
Really?
Old school Hollywood. Alright. Okay, Alright, and then after a few moments, Lightsong hears Blushweaver screaming to let her go. Larmar is like, alright, we need to go back for help. And Lightsong says, no, I am the help. I know if I get a sword, I'll be able to fight them off well. So he rushes in, and he sees Blushweaver tied to a chair surrounded by a group of the God King's priests. Lightsong shoulder blocks one of the men and picks up that man's sword. And then he goes to attack. But it turns out that Lightsong has no idea how to sword fight. And so the men easily take him down, including stabbing him in the leg. Larmar tries to help out, but he is also easily taken down. And Lightsong thinks that this is not how he imagined it would go.
I blame Laramar for this whole thing. He can't tell him about his history. That's fine, but he can say, "Dude, you were not a detective." He could have said that
Oh
at least.
yeah, you're a pencil pusher. Sit down, like
This is all Lolamar's fault, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What is a god supposed to think when he starts having all these things? Is he
Mhm.
supposed to not start getting delusions of grandeur? You've been telling him he's a god.
Mhm. Also, the guy thinks he has a six pack. He probably, he doesn't know how to use any of those muscles.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I'm tall and strong, so I should be able to do it. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
I agree. I would be like, we're probably gonna die, so I'm just gonna say stop. Like,
Well,
and
no,
I'll tell
just
you why.
before when he's like, "Who was I before?" And he's like, "I cannot tell you, sir." And he's like, "I bet I was somebody really cool with all these skills." He could have said, "I assure you, sir, you were not as skilled as you may believe. So don't rely on any skills in the future." I think that alone would have been enough. And then he'd think, maybe I can't sword fight. Because you'd
The thing with-
assume if you were a detective, you'd know how to use a sword,
Yeah, and the thing with Larimar that pisses me off is he would randomly let bits of information slip or just straight up tell him whenever he felt like it. So it wasn't that strict of a rule for him.
Yeah.
Like,
All you have to say is, "Sir, you're not a detective." That's
uh-huh.
it.
You're going in the wrong direction. Just stop.
Yeah.
Or when Lightsong's like, I bet I could sword fight. I'll just give you a sword. See what you can do with it now.
Yeah. Why not say, why don't we test that theory, sir?
Yeah. Try to swing it first at the air. Do you know how to hold it? Like,
He grabbed the blade.
yeah.
So when Lolamar gets all pissed, I was annoyed with him there.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else from this chapter you want to go over?
It's a funny way to end a chapter, that's for sure. If things didn't get so horrifically serious in a second, it would be quite
Right?
funny.
That was mean because this was kind of silly and like
Definitely
light.
Well, it wasn't silly. He screamed. He knew what real pain was. I laugh
Okay,
at that, but
not
out of
that,
context,
but-
it's actually not funny. It sure does
That part
sound
was
funny. I
The
thought it
whole-
was funny.
It was this whole chapter. We're following Larimar with fat jokes the whole time. Like, oh, he's huffing and puffing, and I'm like, wow, these are a lot of jokes on Larimar's account. Like,
I really like when writers wield that purposefully, like not when they make it comedy and then make it serious. I think that's kind of cheap. But when they write it in a subtle way to really lull you into a false sense of security, like what you're saying with the whole Lolamar, to make him being serious hit a lot harder, and to make how drastic things go hit a lot harder. This is what I mean. Brandon Sanderson, I think, might be a sadistic monster. Because writing serious things happening, that's fine. Serious things happen all the time. I watch and read plenty of things that are way darker than this, and they don't bother me because they're darker. The
They're
fact that
prepared.
he's like, oh, he couldn't use a sword, makes everything so much more horrible later on.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Also, he's been philosophizing about shit that doesn't matter this whole time, too. Not thinking about the kinds of things that actually do matter. Just stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, let's move to our last chapter for today, chapter 53. which is probably the happiest chapter in this book.
Oh, yeah.
It's up there with the Vivenna on the Streets chapters.
No, I'll take those ones any day.
Yeah, she bounced back from that one. Unlike our other character.
So, we're starting off with Vivenna, and she's just waiting in their place, waiting for Vasher to return. He had told her that he was only going to go out on a scouting mission, and she knows that she should go to sleep. And she had never waited for Denth to return, and she has been working for Vasher for less time, so why did she worry so much now? She had been friendly with Denth, but she hadn't really cared for him. Vasher wears no false mask, and the only other person she has known like that is Siri, who is now pregnant with the God King's child. Vivenna thinks, how did things turn into such a mess? And then we cut over to Siri, and Siri was sleeping in her bed, and then she wakes up because she hears shouting from outside her room. She goes to the door, and she can hear fighting on the other side, and she hopes that is a rescue. The door suddenly opens, and it is Trellides telling her to come with them. Siri screams for help, but Trellides says that they are trying to help her. Soldiers grab her and pull her out of the room.
Now, this is a strange, interesting thing.
As she's out there, she sees bodies of soldiers, men in unknown armor, and lifeless on the ground. And she can hear more fighting, farther down the hallway, and she tries to scream towards it. And then next, we jump over to Old Chaps.
Yeah, woo! Old Chaps.
Oh my god.
I start reading this chapter and I'm like, why am I so familiar with this guy? Did I forget something? Like, what is this?
I'll tell you no, this is the first time he shows up in the book.
I was wondering if, like, he was at one of the meetings or something. I like Old Chaps. He's got an interesting job.
What?
What, Sheta? What are you trying to say?
Nothing. You have a type, is all.
Yeah, so Old Chaps, he's out fishing at night. He likes fishing at night because then he doesn't have to pay tariffs for the fish he brings back.
real true.
Occasionally, he would also be given better paying jobs, such as dropping dead bodies into the water for the crime lords.
Said as casual as the fishing.
Yeah, one or the other. Depends on the day. Usually Tuesdays.
You get paid.
And I think he even mentions that there's probably like hundreds of bodies at the bottom of the
It's funny because like at first I thought he was going to be like a really dumb kind of like doesn't think guy. Like, oh, just drop bodies for the boss. But he's like, no, he's thinking about how they've got a macabre skeleton dance going under. He thinks about these things. Like, he's not a good person at all.
All right. And then he hears a voice telling him, a little bit more to your right.
Bro, don't listen. That's what I say.
And then he thinks that the sea does sometimes talk to Old Chaps, so he listens to it, and he moves a little bit and then drops his net. He pulls out a sword with a black hilt and a silver sheath. The sword says that it hates water, and that it is icky down there. It wants to destroy some evil. I think the weirdest part about that whole section is that he's like, yeah, the sea sometimes talks to him. What the hell did he hear before?
It's not the first cursed sword he's pulled out of there.
He may not be simple, like you said, Justin, but he seems a little bit crazy. So
he's off, that's for sure.
He's chill. That's the word used. He's chill. Or he just smoked a bunch of weed.
And I hope things go well for Old Chaps.
Yeah, because
it won't.
Great things have gone well for the people who hold that sword.
He's going to be the one who can finally wield it, because he's the most good.
Not even going to answer you.
Sheta, you shouldn't be so judgmental.
Well, anybody himself, he just hid the bodies.
Mm-hmm. What, are you going to not throw bodies down tied to cinder blocks, Sheta? Come on. It's easy money.
Even still, I wouldn't be so casual about it like that. Like if I somehow had to feed my family or something.
And fishing in the exact water is covered in hundreds of bodies, and the fish have been eating those bodies.
Okay, that's another level. Yep,
well,
that's another strike for him.
Well, it's not a lake, it's the ocean, so...
Still.
It's same spot though, right? Same water.
You don't see Dexter going out fishing in that area, that's all I'm saying.
What if he did, and he catches somebody's like finger and detaches it and pulls it out?
Toss it back in.
Yep, nope.
And then Vasher wakes up hanging in a room by a rope that's tied around his wrists. And he's just in his white underwear. The rope has been drained of color, and all the colors that are around him in the room are just gray.
Oh, Vasher wears whitey tidies. That's what we learn.
I don't think whitey tidies exist in this time period.
The old school equivalent of that, then.
And Vasher doesn't have any breath anyways, because he had used the last of it to awaken in the fight earlier. And Denth says that he owes Vasher for Arsteel, and asks how he killed him. Vasher says they killed him in a duel, but Vent says that is impossible. Denth says that Arsteel was a good man, but Vasher responds that they all were good men once.
Okay.
Even when we knew Denth was going to be kind of what he is, I did not expect him to be tied to the lore of all this stuff as much as he appears to be.
Yeah, no. I'm deciding now that he is one of the 5 scholars. And I'll tell you what he invented at the end.
No, don't make me wait. Just tell me now.
No, I'm working on my list right now.
What do you mean working on your list?
My list of the 5 scholars and what they invented.
Oh, God.
Okay, go on.
All right, and then Denth asks if Vasher believes that his quest here will undo what he did. Vasher says that, at least it's better than being a mercenary. And he tells Denth that Vivenna had trusted him, and then he went and killed her friend. Denth says that things just got a little out of hand. Vasher says that it always does with Denth, and Denth snaps back about Vasher starting a war. How he betrayed his closest friend and killed the woman who loved him.
Ah.
Vasher doesn't respond because he thinks about how Shishara needed to die. It was bad enough that she had revealed the command to be able to make lifeless with just a single breath. Then it came up that she might reveal how to awaken steel. Vasher thought of lifeless carrying living swords thirsting for blood. That wouldn't have mattered to Denth, though, who saw his sister murdered by Vasher's hands.
No, it would not. I always think it's interesting, the idea that somebody has a knowledge they want to use that's so dangerous, you just feel it's necessary to kill them. I think that's freaky and fascinating.
Vasher thinks that he made his own monsters to fight in the war back then. Denth says that he was going to let Tongfa have Vasher. Tongfa likes hurting things. And Denth, he can get him to limit it to just animals. And then Denth holds up a knife and says that, he wonders why Tongfa always found it so enjoyable to cause pain. And then we're back over to Vivenna. It's dawn. And Vivenna gets up after not being able to sleep at all during the night. Vasher had never returned. She thinks about how everything she has tried since she left Idris has resulted in failure. She failed as a revolutionary and beggar and as sister. She thinks about how when she was at Idris, everything she did there turned out well. When Siri was chosen to come to Hallandren, it was the first time Vivenna felt she wasn't good enough. She came here to prove that she wasn't flawed. But Hallandren had proven how flawed she was. She failed over and over again, and now she is finding it hard to act because she might just fail again. She thinks that she wants to be competent, and to do that, she has to learn how to deal with failure. Vivenna then puts on some of Vasher's clothes, like the shirt and stuff that's cut into different tassels and everything, and she awakens them using the same exact commands she has seen him use earlier. The ones that he was telling her, yep, these are too complicated for you. And then she puts on the sword that he gave her, even though she doesn't exactly know how to use it, but at least it's better than nothing, and she leaves.
Sorry, but I have a song for Vivenna in this moment. It's T-shirt by Chantel. Look it up and think of Vivenna and Vasher.
I don't know the song, so I can't even tell if that's the cringiest shit you've ever said or if it just totally fits.
It might be. Just her waiting for Vasher with nothing but his T-shirt on.
Oh, God.
Let's leave it at that.
What the fuck?
All right,
it's her waiting this whole time.
All right, let me look up the lyrics for this song. No, all right, never mind.
So it totally fits, huh?
Yes.
Well, it's like, I've been waiting for you, just laying here with nothing but a shirt on, stuff like that.
What
But
the hell, Sheta?
She's trying to decide whether to go out tonight because she's trying to decide to whether or not to go after Vasher. It's just,
oh my God.
yeah. That's just the song that kept popping in my head.
God.
And then she puts on his clothes, so I was like, wow, it's perfect. It's going on my playlist for Warbreaker.
Oh. Sorry, Vivenna. All right. And then we're cutting back to Lightsong. And Lightsong, Blushweaver, and Larimar, they're all in different cells. And Blushweaver is crying. She said it wasn't supposed to be like this. She had been working together with the God King's priests. Lightsong looks over at the priest and thinks that something's wrong. Blushweaver says that they had come up with a plan together and that she was supposed to get the lifeless commands. Now they turn on her and say that she was withholding things from them. Lightsong looks over at Larimar's cage and wakes him up. And he asks Larimar, well, what do I need to pick a lock? Because maybe I have the skills to do that. And Larimar gets upset and asks, what is wrong with you? You were a scribe. Lightsong wasn't a cop or a soldier or a thief. He was an accountant for a moneylender. And he was as much of an idiot then as he is now. He never thinks and he just goes in and he's a complete fool. And every time, Larimar gets dragged into it as well. It never changes. Lightsong becomes a god, and Larimar still winds up in prison. Lightsong looks over at the priests again, and something just feels odd about them. And one of the priests asks Lightsong, what's your command phrase for your lifeless? Lightsong jokes and says that, I forgot, and that I'm a fool, and I easily get captured like earlier. And then the priest has
this kind of stuff. Jesus Christ. You're gonna segue from that into what's about to happen? You friggin' monster.
And then the priest has the other priest pull Blushweaver from her cage. And Lightsong smiles as she's putting up a good fight for them. And then one of the priests slices her throat open.
He couldn't stop to the last second making jokes. I can't believe he smiled. Like everything was gonna be okay.
He's a god. This is like unprecedented, This is not allowed. This is sacrilege, So he has to be very confused here now,
And with him, Blushweaver always like, yep, she'll put up a fight, she'll do all this. It's like, aha, yeah, this is great. And just slice throat.
Mm-hmm.
And like he screams and he's trying to push out of the cage to get to her and stuff, but he just can't. And he sees just like pure fear in her eyes. And then Blushweaver dies. And the priest is just pretty much like, oh, you actually cared about her. Well, all right. And they said that, we just had to do that to show you how serious we are. And then they ask for the command phrase again. And Lightsong tells them, you can just beat it out of me. And the priests are just like, yeah, we're kind of new to this. We don't really have that time. And the ones who are good at torturing, they're gone. So instead, then they pull Larimar out of his cage. And they're about to slice his throat open when Lightsong finally relents and he tells him his command phrase, Red Panther. The priest says that he hopes that Lightsong didn't just lie to him. They aren't cruel men, but they are working for something very important. And Lightsong, he's just now just sitting there, just staring at Blushweaver's body in hopes that it's a hallucination or that she was faking it all somehow. And he just whispers, no, please no. And on that dour note, that's where we end our chapters this week.
Oh, wow. Yay. What a fun time.
Yep, that shocking ending is...
I think they've been hypersexualizing Blushweaver this whole book, too, for the same reason. Because you don't expect the girl who our protagonist describes as super hot all the time to just get her throat fucking slit in 2 seconds like this.
That's really brutal. That character is usually
Jesus.
protected by her...
Yeah, if she's gonna die, it wouldn't be that violent,
Mm-hmm.
And that pointless. And these guys are fucking stupid, in my opinion. I mean, they say it. They say, oh, we're new at this. We don't know how to torture. Like... Why wouldn't you try the threat of slitting her throat first? What if it turned out he cared for her and was more willing to sacrifice Larimar? They only have one chip left now, What if he turned and he's like, Lightsong, don't do it. Like it's more important to keep control of the army. One of those kind of things. I do not like these guys for their sheer incompetence at what they're trying to do here. Like, everyone knows, it's Bad Guy 101. Hold a gun to the character's head and say, we're going to shoot your girlfriend if you don't give us the command phrase. And then if he says no, shoot her. And then say, we got one more, To just do it right away, that would make me not trust that they're even going to let the second guy go,
Well, it worked.
It worked, but it worked because they got lucky that they had a guy who's not as stubborn,
I see.
There are people who would say, oh, fuck you, kill everyone in the world. I'll never give you what you want, And there are people who'd just be broken after somebody died in front of them like that, and they wouldn't even be able to do it, to say anything. Like, what were they going to do? Slit Larimar's throat there, and then what? They've got no tools left. They're just bad guys. That's all I'm saying. They get my crappy villain of the week award.
Maybe crappy villain of the year, because you have not been giving out that award every week.
Yeah, well, I want to save it in case I need to give one out next week. Also, we haven't had a lot of villains. We haven't had a lot of crappy villains so far. They've all been fairly competent. I mean, I gave it to friggin' Straff every week back in Mistborn. Or in Second Bug. Dipshit villain of the week. That's what it's going to be called.
Yeah, and this Blushweaver one, this was another one where it's just like, I do believe that that Lightsong was in love with her.
Yeah, I always thought so. He seemed to have quite a affinity towards her.
Really?
You don't think so?
I don't know what it was, but I never thought they had anything together.
Really? I always felt that she loved him and he loved her, but like he felt he couldn't be with her because of just the way he is. Because he doesn't want to commit to anything, you know? I think he also resents being a god in that whole life and tries to step away from it, you know? Like, he seems to be quite... Like, he doesn't... He does everything he can to avoid living, I think, you know?
I see. I don't know. I guess I thought that like Blushweaver had an actual thing for him, but I didn't ever think that he actually had a thing for her. Well, I think it was just because he had a mystery dream girl, so I don't know.
That could be part of it. To me, it was like she hooks up with people. The gods don't care. They sleep together, and when he wouldn't sleep with her, she became all intrigued. Like, why? And then over time, they became friends and close. And I think he started to get feelings then that he probably didn't want to have. Because he also doesn't really know if he can trust her. He doesn't know how much is real and how much is fake, too, you know? So I think he feels that if he ever hooked up with her, that they would stop being friends, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I think they're actually really, like, kind of somewhat childish, these gods, you know?
Well, they're only 5 years old.
Yeah, exactly. They've got, like, the knowledge of a life, but you know.
And then that chapter with her talking about it, it's completely changed everything you're going through, because throughout the book, you think, oh, she's manipulating, she's trying to gain power for herself and stuff, and it's just like, nope, she was working with the God King's priests. So it's
That's so funny, because it makes so much sense.
So, like, a lot of what she was saying was to Lightsong and stuff was actually true. She was worried for the country and stuff, didn't know what it was going to go for, and she was working with who she believed were, you know, the priest for her king. So she thought she was doing what she needed to for the country, and then they just...
Yeah, that's the interesting part. I like that because she doesn't seem that conniving or smart or manipulative or anything, so it makes a lot more sense that she was working under somebody.
Yep. Anything else from this chapter you two want to go over?
I didn't even want to read this chapter.
That chapter really just broke like Justin's whole theories, because like the last few weeks he kept saying Blushweaver's behind all it. She's evil, and like last week, like your whole
Did I use the word evil? I don't know if I used that word.
I think you might have.
Did I?
And I know like last week you were saying, yeah, but it's gonna come. Blushweaver's gonna take power.
Oh yeah.
Like
see, that's funny because when I was pitching that theory, I thought that, what am I missing? There's a missing element here. I forgot to factor in the priesthood because for God knows what reason I was starting to trust them. But it looks like there's a faction war happening within them, so we'll see. It's funny that you purposely ask us that right before we have the information to actually put together a realistic ending.
Oh God!
Like now, if you asked us, it'd be so different of a question.
Oh yeah, I knew I had to ask you last week because I could not ask you after Blushweaver died.
You sneaky Joe. Can't believe that.
All right. Well, let's just move over to our theories and predictions segment. And now, just like what I did at the end of Hero of Ages, we're at the end, so I don't want to ask you any questions because I don't want to try to lead you one way or the other. So whatever theories or predictions you have for the end of the book, just throw them out there.
Well, I was really surprised when I was looking for my quote today, how little book we have left. I thought we had much, I thought we were maybe 2/3 of the way through or something.
No, we're finishing it next week.
Is it next week? Oh, God.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Not prepared. All right.
Well, I guess I will ask one thing for Sheta. So you said you were putting together your list of who the 5 scholars were and what they created.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm kind of missing something, which is probably for a good reason. So we know Yes Steel. Okay. Let's start with Tashara. We know that she made Nightblood, objects with sentience. So that's one of them. Yes Steel. He must have created something too. I guess the lifeless command, the one breath one specifically,
No.
and that.
I thought she created that. I thought the sister created that one.
Did she?
Yeah,
I thought that's why he killed her.
Tashara.
Yep. When he was thinking about it against Dent, he was thinking that she created being able to make the lifeless from one breath, and she also created Nightblood.
Dang, was she the only scientist then?
Yeah, I don't know why you're assuming they were all like scientists.
Because they were called the 5 scholars.
And
you could
and
be
we
scholars
also,
of all kinds of things, though. Maybe only one of them was a scholar of colors, you know.
And this week's chapters, we also learned what Yestiel did, because she was spurred on to make Nightblood because Yestiel was the one that discovered Iker alcohol.
Okay, so Iker alcohol. That's
So
not
we
a
had
real
5 researchers who were all trying to outdo each other, and then they went too far, and Vasher killed them all.
Yeah.
And because a war happened, and this is actually a book about advancing science too recklessly. It's a nuclear bomb book, I guess. That's my current theory.
Yeah, or like Jurassic World. We played God. Okay. Well then, let's see. I don't know what Dent invented. Like I said, I don't know if he's a scientist or a scholar, but I think he was part of the scholars, though. I think I'm going to count him as the 3rd scholar. And then Vasher is a scholar. I think he may have invented awakening because he seems to be a professional at it, and he's doing all these advanced techniques, you know. Also, when he was teaching Vivenna, I felt like he was really advanced. So I'm going to say he invented awakening. And then so that's 4. The last scholar, I want to get. I don't have any guesses, but my guess is that it was the God King, and that he invented the returned, maybe, because they're kind of his return, his gods, and they kind of live with him. So, yeah, that's my guess.
Do you want me to throw some holes in there from information that we know?
Sure, yeah. Anything I forget or some big old holes.
Okay, so you know the 5 scholars were there. They were learning the stuff, and then they all like grouped with different people and stuff, and they caused the Many War.
Okay.
The Many War was also brought on by Kalad the Usurper, and then
Kalad.
eventually the Many War was ended by Peacegiver the Blessed, and then Peacegiver gave up his life to create the first God King.
So he's the God
Is
King.
what they say, but we all know Kalad
Yep.
is Susabran, right, Sheta?
Yeah.
All this time, and he's just pretending to be reborn so people won't know.
Well, if Peacegiver died, and you know what? Peacegiver and Kalad die. They kill each other in a fight, but Kalad returns as the God King. There we go. So
And
he doesn't have.
The
What's
priest
that?
didn't cut out Susabran's tongue. Kalad had his tongue cut out all that time ago, right, Sheta?
No, the priests know he needs his tongue to return, and so they cut it out.
Because it keeps growing back.
Yeah.
So they cut it out every now
He
and
keeps
then.
returning himself, so they cut it out. But
See, in my version that I'm just making up and don't believe, he was manipulating the priests into thinking he was not that evil god.
No, he just doesn't have his memories, just like Lightsong. But he's getting him back, like Lightsong is, and that's why they need.
Why do they do the baby thing?
Well, those are the ones working for him, and I think he just wants it to look like he's having a son, so that he can have his fake son, aka himself in his son, to be the new king. Yep. So he just has to make it look like it.
So Sheta, since the God King can't be your fifth scholar, do you have a different fifth one?
Well, it would have just been Kalad then.
All right.
Kalad. Yeah.
It's not going to be Tong Fa.
Oh my god. No.
He
If
was
it's
a
Tong
scholar
Fa,
of
I give
killing.
up. No. It can't be Tong Fa because I hate Tong Fa.
What about Jules?
I don't know. She was talking to her lifeless guy. She's no, not Jules.
Then the
If
only
it's
character left for it
frickin'
to be is Vivenna's father.
yeah, no. Probably the dumbest character in this whole book.
Joe, I like when you don't even bother to cover up the mic because that's such a stupid idea.
Well, yeah.
I just know sometimes you're like, oh, I got to pull away. I don't want to reveal that it is or isn't. I like the ones where you're like, no, that's the dumbest shit that's ever been said on this podcast.
Okay. So, yes, Steel, Tashara, Denth, Vasher, and Kalad. Well, what about Peacegiver?
Why are you assuming they're all still alive?
They're not alive.
No, but I mean, like, couldn't one have died long ago? Does it need to be anyone who's around now?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, Kalad's supposedly not in the picture, you know? I mean, yeah, I guess, but that would be boring. I just think that having Denth and Vasher be, well, I'm going to say that Denth too, be alive from that long ago is the point of interest in this. And if there's a third person, they haven't mentioned the last person, so I think it would be more interesting if that was somebody we know than just also dead, not really important. Unless it's Kalad, the legendary or something, you know? Yeah.
Why not Bluefinger, Sheta?
Shush, Justin.
That one I'm serious about. He's very high ranked. He's got a lot of connection.
A random priest? I don't think so. If it is, then I was right all along because I never trusted him. So, I don't know. Any other holes in that? Probably plenty, but
None.
solid theory. Okay, well, the other thing
if I'm gonna put holes in it, it's only stuff that blatantly goes against the text we have been given.
Yeah, something I just...
Yeah, but we know from frickin' what was the second one? Well of Ascension. We can't always trust the text, man.
That's true. It changes on you. But I don't think that's the case here.
Well, neither do I, but
okay, here's my other thing. So, I don't remember his name, but he's the one spy from Lavenna's kingdom who dies and gives her his breath.
Lemix.
Yeah, Lemix. He started taking a lot of breath because he heard that it extends your life. Is that what he said? Like, that it might make you live longer?
Yeah.
But it didn't. So I was thinking, like, I don't know. I don't remember much of what else was said about that, but I wonder if the 5 scholars learned the trick to this and survived, and that's how they survived all this time. Like, whatever the trick is to do that, they just unlocked it. Maybe it's even one of the things that...
Yeah, if we've got long-lived people here, I think it's very likely that it's due to manipulating breaths and stuff.
Yeah, but I feel like because... So I think it's interesting that it's kind of rumored, or like people kind of know that your life is extended if you have breath, but it doesn't always work. So, I think that's interesting.
You don't have the right command to your own body, right?
Yeah.
You just command,
some kind of
live
trick.
longer.
Yeah. Live, don't die.
Don't die. Yeah, I like that command.
Never die. And like,
whatever.
Boss. Maybe even like you need 100 breaths a year or something like that. So, I mean, we already know that from like the God King and the Return that they need to refresh themselves every so often,
Yeah.
So something like that. And I think that they did that to themselves. I just really need this answered. Like, I really need to know. It's bothering me so much. Okay. And then I'm like, are the awakened... The returned? Are the returned just memory wiped people with the special breath inside them. Because Vasher memory wiped that girl. So maybe the return don't
Like, you think they return with their memories and then they wipe them? That'd be freaky.
No, I think they don't even die. I think they just have
Well,
their
no,
memory
we know
wiped.
they do because they happen in like other villages and stuff, from time to time.
Like it's
Yeah.
it's a thing that
Yeah,
happens.
we know that it happens,
Okay.
It's just they don't live very long usually outside of that.
I see. So what were you saying?
Like, they return and then they use that to wipe their memories so they won't be able to say the thing they returned to say, maybe. But no, because the ones in those villages don't really remember anything either, I don't think.
I don't even trust that there are return in villages.
I believe Vivenna or Siri referenced that it happened once where they're from to some random person.
Okay.
Yeah, they've seen it in, Idris, and they know they've heard about people returning in other kingdoms too.
Yeah, it just happens.
That's weird.
It is weird.
That's a mystery. We haven't
Yeah,
really
it's fucked
gotten
up.
any.
No, we have not. No, we have not. At this point, I'm starting to wonder if we're going to, because that was the thing I was most curious about.
But yeah, the facts we know are so frustrating because we do learn memory wiping is a thing, memory loss is a thing. Characters we know have no memory. Okay, let's just finish this book.
All right. Justin, do you have any predictions you want to put out there?
I think I said the only one I have.
And then let's jump over to the character of the week.
Well, that's obvious.
Oh yeah, yeah. For
It's
you,
old. What's his name?
old Chappie.
Old Chappy.
Old Chaps.
Old Chaps. No, it is not Old Chaps.
Justin, you're not gonna pick old Chaps?
No, Old Chaps sucks. I'm glad he's going to die. He's a terrible guy.
He's gonna be the villain. What are you talking about? Oh man, what if Nightblood is the villain?
If Old Chaps comes in and he kills like 500, like the entire priesthood with that sword, he will be my favorite character. But my favorite character is the sword this week. I'm going to finally bite it and say it. Just because I really liked that it was able to talk its way out of the ocean and get a guy very quickly. And then I really like the revelation that it was assigned to destroy evil, but it's a fucking sword, so it has no concept of what evil is. I think that's really interesting. And the part where he's like, oh, you won't kill people, but you'll choke a girl to death, said without the judgment a human would have. It's just genuinely does not understand. Like,
He's
why is one evil and one's good,
Yeah, choke an innocent girl, but not kill this guilty guy. Like,
I found that very interesting.
Nightblood was my favorite too. So, for the same reasons. Yeah, I like learning more about him. And I really like his little personality that I thought for a while that he was a like a soul stuck in a sword, so like he was a person already, but he was created, so he's just a sword actually, no previous memory in there, just the one command that he's
the dumbest command to give something. I can't believe they were that stupid.
That's reckless.
Like, humans can barely grasp what evil is. Like, they thought evil was a tangible thing, right? But
yeah, and they wanted to give it a simple command because you always said that. Yep, commands are simple, so it's like, destroy evil.
That's way too simple.
Yeah, maybe that's why he emphasizes like you have to.
Give a command a person could even understand. If I told you destroy evil, you and Joe are going to destroy different things. Like everyone's got a different feeling.
Ooh, what would you destroy, Joe? I would destroy.
All right, so my favorite character for the week.
Yeah, you're going to ask him to get into such a deeply philosophical and revealing question.
Well, I'm going to destroy that car across the street that keeps parking in the wrong direction. That's what I'm going to go out and do.
This is why it's good that you don't have that command.
Like, you're parking the wrong way. Like, everyone else is parking the correct way.
Oh my god.
That's what I would go. I would get a baseball bat and smash it up. That's what I would
do. I guess I'll have to destroy Michael Bay before he gets to make another Transformers movie since he's coming back. So I guess we all have our thing.
Yeah.
He's coming back? How many Transformers movies is he going to make?
We don't know, but he's coming back after the last 2 attempts bombed so bad they called him up to come, even though his last one also pretty much bombed.
Dang. They're doing a bring Robert Downey back, but with...
Yeah, well, one of those I think will be successful. I'm not going to say which one it is, though.
All right. I guess if I have to destroy evil, it will have to be either the Green Bay Packers or the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, I'm glad we all had sensible answers to that. This is why it's a bad command to give to a sword. That's all I'm saying.
All right. So my favorite character for the week, I will go with Lightsong. So I liked his whole chapter of, trying to figure out like voting on the war and stuff, and just really thinking about like, should we go to this war? Asking Larimar his thoughts and just being like, you know what, I'll hold it off. And then later stuff where he's like, something just feels off. He's trying to figure it out, even though he kind of, bumbles it towards the end. Just I can fight and stuff. And then his girlfriend gets murdered in front of him. Just all the stuff before that. It was a good character to read for the week.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now let's go to quotes.
Sheta doesn't get a character.
What? Why?
She said Nightblood.
I said Nightblood.
Oh,
too.
you did?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
you were just agreeing with me.
Yeah, because I did agree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you touched upon it, Joe, but it was when her father had chosen Siri over her. It had been the first time in her life she'd felt that she wasn't good enough. So she'd come to how do I say that?
To tell her.
To tell her, determined to prove the problem wasn't with her. It had been with someone else. Anyone else, as long as Vivenna wasn't flawed. But Hallendarin had repeatedly proved that she was flawed, and now that she'd tried and failed so often, she found it hard to act. By choosing to act, she might fail, and that was so daunting that doing nothing seemed preferable. And then she thinks to herself, you want to be competent? You want to learn to be in control of what goes on around you rather than just be pushed around? Then you'll have to learn to deal with failure. I like that because that's just good advice.
That is a good one.
Yeah, nice and simple. Good advice for everyone in every situation. Good advice for a human. Just get comfortable with it and embrace it. Because you're going to suck more than you're going to be doing what you want right.
Yeah. I like that one. I'll just pick that one too.
You can't do that.
I also picked Nightblood. Just kidding. All right.
That's not how it goes with a quote.
I guess I just picked the quote where Siri woke with a start. There was shouting coming from outside her room. She roused herself quickly, moving over to the door and putting her ear to it. She could hear fighting. If she were going to run, perhaps now would be the time. She rattled the door, hoping for some reason that it was unlocked. Oh my... Did you hear that?
What?
Yes.
It was my phone.
Oh, what'd it do? Oh, the Siri.
Oh, yoy.
Looking up door unlocking services.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. It wasn't. She cursed. She heard fighting earlier, screaming and men dying now and again. Or someone trying to rescue me, perhaps? She thought hopefully, but who? I just thought this was a cute little scene of... That had to have been Vasher, right? Vasher fighting Denth and them outside her door?
Well, there was the one... Because she said she heard fighting earlier, so that would have been Denth and Vasher.
Okay, yeah.
But the current fighting is different.
Okay. I just think, so hearing Vasher and them fight earlier, I thought was... I always like moments like that in things where our characters kind of cross paths without knowing it. So
it's funny because it sounds a bit arrogant even for her to think somebody to save me, but earlier it just went bad.
Yeah.
All right, and now I have to go with a different quote because Justin stole mine.
Everyone loves that quote.
Yeah, I figured that was going to be somebody's. That's why I was glad you let me go first. I was surprised.
All right, so I guess instead I'll just try to get the last little happy moment of Lightsong and Blushweaver. Yep. You are wonderful, Lightsong. He stood there, looking into her eyes for a time, widely set, beautiful green eyes. You're not going to give me your command phrases, are you? She asked. He shook his head. I brought you into this, she said. You always talk about being useless, but we all know you're one of the few who always goes through every picture, sculpture, and tapestry in his gallery. The one who hears every poem and song. The one who listens most deeply to the pleas of his petitioners. You're all fools, he said. There is nothing in me to respect. No, she said. You're the one who makes us laugh even while you insult us. Can't you see what that does? Can't you see how you've inadvertently set yourself above everyone else? You didn't do it intentionally, Lightsong, and that's what makes it work so well. In a city of frivolity, you're the only one who's shown any measure of wisdom. In my opinion, that's why you hold the armies. Yep, and I just like that whole one because, like I said, first, last little moment of them kind of being happy, even if they are also kind of arguing at the same time. Another thing is, it is sort of what, throughout the entire book, what Blushweaver has been saying about Lightsong. The entire book, he's just like, I'm useless and stuff, and she keeps telling him, no, you're like one of the best of us and all this, and it is all stuff.
Honest.
Yep, and it is all stuff that we've seen. Like he does take his job seriously. He always does look at the paintings and gives them thought. And we've seen him listen to the petitioners, and even though he keeps thinking, "I'm never going to give up my life for everybody," it does affect him. And at the one time, he's just like, "I can't listen to these anymore." So it's just, yeah, he just thinks he's useless and stuff, but he is just one of the best of them to her and likely to the others. All right, and then I'm going to go through a couple comments, just finish off the ones that we had left after we doing a bunch of them last week. First one is going to be from Elantris, chapters 11 through 13. This one's from Operati NL. That's the person where in our introduction video I told them, yeah, you should leave comments as you go. I'll still read through them. And they said, they will go. And they did say they are a little more critical. So
of us or of the book?
Of the book.
Okay.
Yeah. I felt the story really picked up in these chapters. I like the first setup a lot, but then I felt he started exploring the characters, and they are a bit too Mary Sue for my taste. Except for Wraithen, of course.
Hell yeah, brother.
Which is why he's the most interesting POV character to me, despite having the least interesting plot so far. It's all set up, though. I'm curious to see where this all will go. I do also think it's a bit contrived that the Elantrians never tried farming before. I'm able to look past it, but I hope Brandon gives more reasons why they never did.
The only reason I could imagine why they didn't is because somebody will come smash you with a rock if you do anything positive.
It seems
just to
so
take it
dangerous,
immediately.
Yeah, in Elantris.
You'd be
Also,
like, okay, time to farm. Let's make things nice, guys. Hey, he's got something nice. Get him. And just take it.
Nice. Smash it. Break his legs.
I think the other thing, too, is how much work would go into it. Because, yeah, you have the city dead. If you scratch yourself and stuff, that pain stays with you. So people are breaking down quickly.
Yeah.
The only thing they're getting, like, Raoden got was seed corn. So you have to grow this corn with no fertilizer, as Gallandon pointed out in the book. And corn takes like 90 days to grow.
You got time.
So it's like, well, you have that, but also how many people are just going to get hurt and they're not going to survive for this corn?
I think the thing that makes it nicer is just working in a large group like that, It doesn't, we see that the gangs they had before, they're not really like very
on trust and community,
organized or good, they're kind of stupid.
Yeah. For me, it's like everyone is too depressed about being in a lantern now, or what do they call those? Yeah. Just being in there that they wouldn't ever want to do anything.
Yeah, definitely part of it.
Like the biggest thing I think that I forgot his name, the main character.
Raoden.
Yeah, Raoden. The biggest thing he brought to them is hope and positivity. And I think that helped him.
Yep.
Help them be able to farm.
And I do understand where people come from when they say the characters are Mary Sue, because they're a different type of character. Because Brandon wasn't writing them as a character that's like broken and they get fixed throughout it. He was trying to take people that were already good and stuff and put them into a situation where they have to work through it. Like Raoden's thing wasn't really about him learning how to be a king. It was about taking someone who's already ready to be a king and seeing and putting him into a shitty situation and trying to have him keep that hope up that was already there.
Which he wasn't able to do, too, which is what's most interesting. Even he
No,
reached
I
his
thought
limit.
he did a valiant job.
He did a valiant job. He reached his limit, and then he had one last thing that helped him get a last little glimmer of hope. But beyond that, there wasn't anything left. I also think, personally, I know a lot of people feel that way, where they're like, oh, a character's too perfect or something. But there are infinite characters out in the world. I like when they're different from each other. And I like when sometimes a character is just absolutely perfect. I find it super interesting, just like I like when a character's so comically flawed that they can't even function. Just depends on the story. But also, I think I've said before, I'm very strict on my use of the word Mary Sue. To me, a Mary Sue needs to be somebody who somehow destroys all confines of logic in the story to succeed at everything in every way without even, having any kind of believable writing on how they'd achieve anything they do.
They walk into a room, all problems are solved.
Yeah, they walk in, they act like an idiot, an asshole, they make everything worse, and yet for some reason everyone else was the bad guy and they made everything better.
Yep, so if you're still listening to the podcast at this point, you'll hear a little bit of our explanations back to the criticism. But they liked Rathan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
Anyone who sees that Rathan is the best character gets my my support.
Plus, these are, I feel, actual criticisms and actually make sense. It's not like the 1-star reviews where it's just
oh no,
so badly written. Those were bad.
No, if it was the 1-star reviews, there'd be no explanation of why there's a complaint in the first place.
Yeah.
No, it's completely reasonable.
And as I said, when we read Elantris the first time, it's there was stuff in there where I felt Brandon Sanderson gets better with his writing later, and if he wrote it now, it would be a little bit more streamlined throughout it.
I definitely think even with these few books, the writing is better, and yet I still have a deep fondness for Elantris.
Oh yeah,
because
I still too.
The writing quality, I don't really care about that in a story, at all. I care about the characters and ideas. Sure, I'd prefer better writing quality, but,
I guess I go back to, Sereni's plan with the corn. All right, everyone, we're going to do all this. Everyone, you'll have your people grow the crops and stuff and share it, and that just went nowhere.
Yeah.
All right, let's go over next. We'll go to Warbreaker Chapters 34 through 39. So first we have Reader Warrior. Underrated live action movies. Thomas and the Magical Railroad. It's my comfort film. And Mr. Megorium's Magic Emporium.
I never watched it.
I never saw it either. I always just think of the one scene from Bruno.
That's about all I know of the movie, too. Oh, wow. Thomas and the Magical Railroad looks cool. I've never seen it.
I'll put that on my list.
Scott.
Okay, my go-to karaoke song is Let It Go, but only when I'm with a group of friends. Once we got an entire pub in Newcastle to join in. But for just me, it's probably Country Roads or Even If It Breaks Your Heart.
Country Roads is a good one.
Nice.
Chapter 35. I've been waiting for this chapter. Haha, it's such a drastic shift. Just remember, Brandon wrote this for his wife on their honeymoon/engagement.
Yeah, what the fuck is wrong with him? Why'd you marry this guy? He's a psycho.
What part? What part
chapter
is it?
30. Chapter 35, that's the Death Tonfa reveal.
Sorry, Alec Baldwin is in this movie? It looks
Which
like
one?
he's a conductor. This looks fucking awesome.
Oh, in the Thomas movie?
Yeah.
What year is it?
Yeah.
That will tell us which Alec Baldwin we have.
2000.
Wow.
Okay.
I
So
thought
I
it was
did
going to
not
be like
know.
an 80s movie or something from the
No,
sound
this
of
looks
it.
awesome. It looks super whimsical.
Oh,
But the effects are like your normal Thomas the Tank Engine effects, just with a little
Is
more
it-
movement.
is it a Thomas the Train movie?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
Okay.
All right, and then he continues. It's been a while since I read Warbreaker, so I may be wrong. But doesn't Claude smile as it/he attacks Denth? What do you all think about that? I need to double check.
Don't feed Sheta's fucking stuff.
I think he loves her.
Oh God.
I think he thinks she's
35.
pretty and nice and that he likes her. You know, that is something though. If Claude likes Ravenna and Nightblood likes Ravenna, she must have some kind of like whisperer thing
Return
about her.
pheromones.
Yeah. Where they're
Also,
like,
no, it does not say anything about Claude smiling or anything
but he
like
gave
that.
her a twinkle in her eye, in his eye.
He did
though.
not give her a. I thought we were I thought we'd escaped this.
No, he gave her a look like, you just have to command me and I'll do it. Like I'll save you.
Oh my God! No. Move
Yeah,
on. Move
He
on.
did, right, Joe? He did.
Move on.
Joe's looking it up, so be quiet, Justin.
Wow.
He is
Alright.
a zombie.
So, Claude stepped up beside Dent, gray eyes staring forward, empty as always. Except, could she see something in them? Was she imagining it? Her emotions were so strained lately that she couldn't really trust her perceptions. Claude seemed to meet her eyes.
There you go. Nothing.
And sparks flew.
And then they kissed.
No, that's it, Sheta. There's no sparks.
Okay.
She said he seemed to meet her eyes. And I
And
thought
then
you moved on to Vashvena.
I did, but okay, hold on. After that though, she remembered that she knew the code.
Oh my God.
Right?
Oh my God.
Alright.
Stop.
Okay, let's just go on to chapter 36 of Reader
Oh
Warrior's thing.
God. No shit.
All right, so chapter 36. Justin, I'm a pure, innocent Catholic boy. Of course I know how babies are made. You send a letter and the stork shows up 8 months later.
Yep. That's how it happens.
Chapter 37. The whole drab stuff is basically racial stereotyping. Drabs are more angry and violent than bland. Can easily be compared to Asians are good at math, African Americans love fried chicken, or white people can't dance.
I've got a good difference here. As far as I'm aware, those three races do have their souls still. I've never checked. South Park says otherwise about Asian people. But as far as I'm aware, they have their souls and drabs do not.
All right. A big part of Sandersonian writing is looking at where things come from and if they are real. Remember how the nobles thought of the ska? Was that true?
Yep, that's what I already think before, even without that. Because I just don't trust anything that somebody comes in and tells me in a book unless I see it with my own eyes. So anytime they're like, yep, there's a magic entity that, even when they're like, oh, yep, this is our god. I'm like, let me see him. Let me see him. Let me see his entire history back to the dawn of time. Give me all the facts. I don't trust anything in these books.
All right. And then Warbreaker Chapter...
Oh, I just dropped something.
And we all had to know.
Yep, it was very important you had to know. It wasn't even anything I was using. I just knocked it.
Oh my gosh. Quit wasting everyone's time.
Warbreaker, chapters 40 through 45. Reader Warrior comment. A 3-hour episode? Welcome back, Tree.
It was her fault. She made it so long. She
Yeah.
had too many interesting things to say. You should be boring like us.
And I think the power going out and having to split up the recording into 2 sessions didn't help.
Yeah, it didn't help, that's for sure.
Underrated animated film. For 2-day animation, I'll pick Justice League versus the Fatal 5 or Balto.
Balto. I love Balto.
Was Justice League versus the Fatal 5, was that the whatever happened to the...
I believe that was the one where they brought Jessica Cruz in. Let me double check. I think that was a newer one. It was okay.
I thought it was the adaptation of whatever happened to...
No, that was Superman versus the Elite.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yep, that's the one with Jessica Cruz in it.
All right. So for 3D/CGI, I'll pick Astro Boy. And for
Never
stop
saw it.
motion, I'll be picking Chicken Run.
Hell yeah, Chicken Run. I saw that in theaters.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw it when it came out and I rented it. But it's been a long time. Okay. Chapter 43. I would absolutely wear a clown outfit and use it to terrify people. Then I'd use Nightblood and make everyone else bow to me. Mwahahaha.
When I don't have the context of what we're talking about, you sound like a fucking psychopath.
Does anyone else remember the murder clown sightings of 2016?
Yeah.
I think we were
Good
talking about
times.
it because I think Tree said she was afraid of clowns.
Yes, and then we talked about Ronald. Was that a different one? How Ronald went into hiding for a couple years after that?
Yeah, went into hiding because they've been
Because-
spotting him with the knife out there.
No, he's-
No, it wasn't that. It was just because the people were
I know.
showing up dressed as clowns.
Well, hopefully he'll get a comeback.
It's about time.
All right. If you want something really horrifying, look at the original Mickey Mouse mascot costume.
I'm not going to look that up. That sounds like nightmare fuel already.
And then a quote from the book: "Even if a man is evil to the core, people will like him and listen to him if he's charismatic." And he says that Brandon has stated that Dent is Kelsier, but from the viewpoint of the opposition.
That's funny. But he's not. Dent is a piece of shit. Oh, God, no.
Didn't you just say you were not going to look up the Mickey Mouse costumes?
It's fucked. It's... Ugh.
What? Send it to me.
You don't want to see this.
All right, and then chapter 45. As much as I like to tease about your insane theories, please keep doing them. Even the most insane ones can become true. Just don't believe them to already be true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would
they
make
said-
me. Oh, sorry.
And then he says that he predicted something about a character based on absolutely nothing once in Stormlight Archive and ended up being right. Totally didn't let that go to my head or anything. I think I know about there from listening to his podcast.
Nah.
And from the series section, but Vivenna was a drab and she was still able to keep herself from going dark. Man, maybe all this drab stuff has come from a viewpoint character with bigoted / biased against those who have broken their religious doctrine. It's almost like this entire book and her character has been about that theme.
Mm-hmm.
Then a quote that somebody said, "Nightblood is just a sword. And Wilson was just a volleyball, but we all cried for him too."
Yeah.
And I know there was one other comment. I did respond to them on Spotify, but also say it here, just in case other people are wondering. Put this up. Because this one was from Red Mac on that same episode. "This is a great podcast, but can we get Joe to scream a little less in the intro? It kind of blows out the eardrums of earbud wearers."
And Joe's response, never!
You know,
Hi, welcome to Cosmere Chronicles.
Oh, it's a lot louder than
You know,
that.
I
I'll
can't be
try
about
to-
it.
all right, I'm going to try to change up how I'll do it. Unfortunately, I've already recorded all the intros for Warbreaker, so a couple more episodes with that. But after
Get
that,
ready
I'll
to
change
lose
it.
those eardrums.
So I'll try to change it up so it's not as yelly as it.
We're going to
is.
have you doing a fucking ASMR intro
I
now.
know. Do an ASMR.
Oh, no, I'm not doing
Hi.
that.
Welcome to Cosmere Chronicles.
Oh, God, no. No, that's, no, I won't do that.
Cozy. Do it, don't do it. The cozy.
No, because if I go by going to that extreme, it's going to make me come off as just like a dick. Be like, "Oh, you don't want to do this, blah, blah, blah." Instead of being somebody like, you know what? I'll actually take their concerns into consideration and try to.
Joe, I
quiet
don't
down.
think you know how the internet is supposed to work. You're supposed to be a dick all the time.
No.
Plus, you can blame it on us for giving you the idea.
No. I will go. It's still going to be a similar format. I'm just going to try to change it up so it's not so yelly.
Okay.
Sheta, you don't even listen to the intros anymore.
No, but I will if you start doing ASMR.
God, no. So,
You know, it's one of the most searched terms on YouTube, Joe. We could be missing out on a whole audience base there.
all right. So, just do an ASMR episode where that's how we talk.
Podcast. Actually, that's a fucking good idea. I wonder if anyone's done that. Where you
course.
talk about random shit in a soft, whispery, and gentle voice.
Well, and then we have like some rain in the background and like ambient noises.
This is turning into too much production value. We'll just keep screaming people's eardrums out.
All right. And so like I said, for next week, we're just going to finish the book. Just read it through the epilogue. And I would also say, read the Ars Arcanum in the back. It's on like 2 pages. It'll explain a bunch about the magic. And as we go in the... It's called Ars Arcanum. It's back of every book. It just explains the magic and stuff in the book.
Okay.
And as we go through those Ars Arcanum start becoming more and more relevant as well. But that will give you a lot of explanations about what each heightening gets.
So we are allowed to read that at the end? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'd suggest to read it too. It's only like 2-3 pages, so it won't take that long.
Okay. Maybe I'll get some answers? Maybe?
Well, you'll get answers with everything else in the book too.
No,
Yeah, I think finishing the book will give more of the answers.
All right.
Sometimes.
So we have that, and I'll just go over it once again in case people still want to pick up and follow along. After this, White Sand next. We'll be reading the graphic novel. We're going to read the omnibus version because that includes includes a prologue included. You can read it in the 3-volume version, but it will be slightly different. And then after White Sand, we'll be reading Emperor's Soul out of the Arcanum Unbounded book. And then after that, we'll go into Way of Kings. That's the next couple things, but also the first 2 will be pretty short for us to read. All right.
Oh, exciting.
So now,
oh, sorry. Are we going to do our casting next week then? Or
no.
is that our wrap up?
That's always the wrap-up episode.
Okay, sorry.
Now plugs time. Go.
Follow me on Instagram at Sheta_low and Mermaid Machete.
Okay, that same thing, but replace Instagram with Instagram, DeviantArt, and Twitter. And then also replace Mermaid Machete with Profanity Beaver.
Yep, and then you can follow us in any of the social medias in the description. Email us, cosmicchronicles@gmail.com. And then leave likes, comments, all that jazz. You understand the drill. You've listened to podcasts before.
Hey, you shouldn't make assumptions.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like, if you haven't listened to podcasts before, if you're riding your buddy's car and they've had this on, so it's the first time you ever listening to a podcast, and you're like, hey, I like that. You can find us on most of the podcasting sites. So then you can just look up Cosmic Chronicles on those. And maybe call your buddy a dick for just throwing on a random podcast while you're in a 2-hour car drive.
Yeah, and filled with spoilers for a book you've never read. A random chapter. That friend is a dick. Don't hang out with them anymore.
And I would also say, just get back at them, slash their tires.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
It's reasonable and deserved.
Well, at least get to where you're going first. And make sure you have a way back home if you need.
Nope. Mm-mm. Burn it all down.
Like, now we're trapped here.
No, slash their tires and then hire a limo service to bring you back.
Mm-hmm.
This is very bad advice. Don't do that.
We will stand by this advice legally.
I will not. I'm not part of this.
In a court of law.
If anything happens, we'll hire the guy from the Legal Eagle YouTube page to defend us.
No way. That guy is. I don't trust that guy. He dresses too well.
Whoa.
But he did a whole video on breaking down the legal defense of Shaggy's "Wasn't Me" video.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I don't trust his verdict on some of those. He just dresses nice and he says, oh, yes, this is how it goes. I'm like, I don't even know who you are, bro. I think that defense would work.
Wasn't me. Got me in the kitchen. Wasn't me.
Okay.
All right.
Solid.
Yep. So, yeah, everyone, please come back next week. Hopefully this hasn't turned you off. Goodbye, everyone.
Adio.
Ta-ta.